For the session, we have the whole DUB family here. Iration Steppers, Mark, come up on stage. Rico, please welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Our 4 members of the Reggae University. Okay, it was a wicked film and it's gonna be a wicked session. Thank you so much for being here. Another big round of applause for them. It's very early, so give them very big thank you, massive, massive thanks.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Reggae University. We are very pleased and privileged to have our special guest this afternoon, Mark Iration and Rico O.B.F. And just to remind those of you, you've been here before, you're familiar with the panel that we chair, but just to remind, just next to me we have the journalist and broadcaster Pier Tosi from Bologna, Italy, presenter of the Soul Shakedown Party Show. And on the other side, we have Pete Lilly and Ellen Koehlings, the editors of Riddim Magazine from Cologne, Germany. Now, Mark and Rico. Yeah, Mark and Rico, thanks very much for this beautiful film. I've seen it several times. Every time I see it, I discover something different. It's an extraordinary piece of work. What can you tell us about whose idea was it to make the film? How did the film come about, and how long did it take?
Hello, everybody. It started like this. This guy, I've been a large influence to O.B.F, yeah? And we decided to reissue the old Iration Steppers album. Original dub that and dubs from the higher regions. And I said we should like do a little promo video, like short promo documentary, yeah, like something like 5 minutes, yeah, to promote the album reissue, yeah. So we booked 3 tickets to go to the UK, 1 cameraman, Andre from Dubquake Records, and myself. Flew to Chapeltown, Leeds, England, Yorkshire. When we reached there, just me. We've been in Mark's attic. As you can see, there's many, many boxes, yeah? Couldn't do just 5 minutes of something documentary. He had so much like footage from the old days, so much to say. When we look at the entire journey that Mark had, we say, yo, we have to show the people the real story of how it started, how this man brought us here all together nowadays, and as well help the scene to like open barriers and push boundaries, you know? So yeah, this is how it started.
Yes, and Mark, what can you tell us about this process of putting the film together with Rico and the crew? Yes.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Bless. Well, like Rico just explained, it was a promotion for the albums that influenced like O.B.F and many people, and we just filmed for the sake of filming, really. We didn't think of no vision for the future. We just filmed because we had a camera to film, so we used to film. And so I had boxes of VHS videos, if people know what VHS videos are. Boxes, because I had to renovate the place, the studio had to get renovated, so we had to get these videos out. So going to the attic, and there was about 5 boxes there, yeah? And we took just one box. And in the one box, I think the first few videos that came up was good. Wow. Was good. It opened their eyes and they says, oh wow, we can't do 5 minutes. This has to be something longer, like a story. Now, as we're just vibrant people. So we were just filming for the sake of filming. We never ever dreamt of a documentary being made on Iration Steppers. But we were lucky that the pandemic, not lucky because people died, but we're lucky we had time in the pandemic to sort out the videos, to look at pictures, to go through flyers and this, that, the other. So me and Rico and the Dub Quake family, in the pandemic, we were working very, very hard to go through this old archive stuff. A lot of stuff I forgot about, but I'm so happy that the vision for these guys saw the making of this. And the guy called, who's the guy that did the editing? Fab, yeah. So, you know, anybody that knows about editing, it's a long thing, it's a long process. Oh, yeah. For me, going through the boxes and going through the flyers and everything, it was long. And that would never have happened without the pandemic. Never happened. So the pandemic worked for us. It might not have worked for a lot of people, but it kept my mind and my brain sane. And it kept this guy sane, because these guys are pushing me to do things, and we did it. So the long, short story of this is that it was supposed to be 5 minutes, and it ended up being this. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it, because I never knew it was a story, but thank you all.
Yeah.
Everyone understand? Yeah, English?
Yeah, I understand. So Rico, how long would you say the process took from start to finish?
I think we started like just in the beginning of the pandemic, yeah, to film. And then we've been a couple of times in the UK as well. At a certain time we couldn't fly to the UK, so we used a team in London. Then Fab, big up Fab, my brother, who has been working on the edit, digitalized the VHS, digitalized the tape, recorder tape, digitalized DVD, everything. And then arranged the whole stories. So it took like a year and a half.
Yeah. We all kept bouncing from each other on video call, Zoom.
Yeah.
Discovered Zoom and all them things. And we did bounce off each other. This should be here, that should be there. But yeah.
Steph, how long? 1 year? Yeah, 1 year. It took us 1 year.
Okay.
And do you remember it's our first documentary, so decent, I think, the time of.
And once you understood that this wasn't going to be, let's say, a promotional video for a reissue, but an actual fully fledged documentary, how did you decide about framing these chapters, and what were you really trying to express or achieve with the film?
Andre from Dubquake did work on the questions, and he kind of like guided the whole direction of the documentary, because Andre is working on Dubquake Records and he's a big fan of all this like mixed, like electronic scene and all like this genre mixing and fusion. And when he discovered that Mark started back in the 80s, dancehall, disco house, all this stuff, reggae, you know, he said, yo, okay, let me work on it. And then every question he was asking, I was at the Vane Street event with Ital Rockers, then the house, Detroit, music influence, as well with Ital Rockers, then the Kitachi area, then there's too much to say, so, and trust me, we can of make it short because we could have done a Netflix series with this guy. 2 seasons at least.
For real.
I say that, but anyway.
Yeah, so for me, one of the things that the film, I mean, this film has so many layers. There are a lot of issues that come up in the film, and there's a lot of background context. And, you know, a lot of the audience here might not be that familiar with the difference between the north of England and the south of England and the particularities of Leeds, and especially Chapeltown in Leeds. So I'd like to ask each of you, I mean, Mark, you can tell us a little bit, you can enlighten the good people here about your early days growing up in Chapeltown. What was Chapeltown like? It has some connotations of a place with strong culture, of Jamaican immigrant culture and Caribbean immigrant community, but also a place that faced racism and hostilities from the police. So what can you tell us about growing up in Chapeltown? What's it like? How did it affect the music that you made?
Wow, I'm gonna need a Netflix documentary for that. Long. Okay, I'll make it short. Okay, I was born in Chapeltown, Leeds, and then a school, small school, as you know, nursery, and then we went to Jamaica to live in Jamaica, and we lived there for a while, but my mum was getting abused. She wasn't good. The guy that she was with wasn't good, so we had to leave Jamaica and come back to England, and lived in Sheffield with my auntie for a while. Went to school in Sheffield for a bit, and then we came back to Leeds to live, because Leeds is my home, and lived in a different area first, and then we went back to live in Chapeltown, where I still live now. But the history of the ghetto, we called it the ghetto then, and there was front lines. You call it front line, like Brixton had a front line, but not no more. Leeds had a front line, but not no more. It's all posh now. It's all made up and looks nice and whatever. But it was a very vibrant place. Mixed people, Indian, Chinese, blacks, white, everything. We all lived together as one. And that's what I loved about my area. I loved multiracial areas. I just love it. But at the same time, we couldn't go to town center. Back in the days, we couldn't go to town center. It was like a no-go zone because the racism wasn't very good. You went through a certain area. If the area was like 2 minutes to go to there, to get to the train station, we had to make it go around and make it 45 minutes to go to the train station, to go catch a train to go to a session, okay? But it wasn't really bad. It just certain little pockets of places. But the pockets of places, it's not one-on-one. It's like 10 against 1, yeah? So we had to run, you know? So sometimes when there was 5 of us, then we had a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a scrap. But besides that, Chapeltown as a whole was very, very, very vibrant, and we loved it. And as you can see on the video here, it's a very nice place and very nice people. So I could go on and go on, but it's like that.
Okay, so you're essentially saying that being a black person in that era, certain parts of the city, the center of the city, were very off limits for black people.
Certain places, I think that happened anywhere. It could be Brixton, it could be Birmingham, Manchester. In that time, you're talking like the 70s, early 80s, it was a bit like that, yeah. So everywhere was like that, so you had to fight for your rights, you know?
Now, one thing that the film makes clear that, again, was very instructive for me, you were active on several different sound systems, and not only sound systems in Chapeltown, and not only sound systems in Leeds, but in other cities of the north like Bradford and Huddersfield, and you name it. That seems very different to what I saw of the sound system scene in London, where people tended not even to cross the river from North London to South London or from east to west. What can you tell us about that? Maybe you can describe a little bit about what sound system was like in the North in that time. And
Yeah. Well, that was a crazy thing. It was a natural thing, really, that happened because I'm a Leeds man, and I moved with the Leeds people, the Chapeltown people, and I was a selector. I was always been like a selector, take my music to different sound systems in Leeds. But I was never a sound system man. I was just a selector. So this guy would have called me, "Oh, Mark, can you bring your music here?" Whatever. No problem. I played. So sound system was in my head that time, or just selecting. So when a sound called Conquering Lion from Bradford, they were our friends, and Leeds and Bradford is about 14 miles maybe. They called us and said, "Oh, do you want to join Conquering Lion?" So me and Sam said, "Oh, yeah, why not? Because I have no sound system and I like sound system." So we joined Conquering Lion, and we did many shows in Manchester and different places. And me and my friend Sam Mason, who's passed away now, we suggested, should we build a sound system? We had no money, but we had to take the wood off of certain buildings and build boxes from stuff like that, yeah? And then we finally got a job, finally got some money, and finally started to build our little sound system, which is called Ital Rockers at that time. So because people knew me as a selector, and they found out we had a sound system, then they started booking us to do parties, weddings, christenings, stuff like that. So we played everything from lovers rock, rocksteady, house, dub, whatever. We played everything, yeah? And got popular. It got that popular that every time I did a party, I always played dub to test the sound. So I'm dropping bass in the dub, and every time we end off, we played dub. So during the party, we're playing all sorts. And then people said, "Why don't you build a sound system?" I said, "No, man, too much money. I can't afford a sound system." Anyway, they kept saying it. And eventually, it came to the step that we built Ital Rockers, and then Iration Steppers formed after the MCs was doing slack. They started to get a bit slack. Started talking about not nice things, yeah? So I'm a roots man, so I didn't want no violence. I just wanted this roots and culture and education. So my force and my friend was saying, "Yeah, build a sound." So this is why I kind of, Ital Rockers is me, but it's, when I say left, what I'm saying, I left it on the shelf. Ital Rockers left on the shelf, and this is when we started the Iration Steppers, because it's culture, freedom music, spiritual music, and everything good. So that's what made Iration Steppers as it is today.
Okay, now, Mark, one thing that comes up in the film that, I have to say for me, it's kind of confusing, so I'm hoping you can break it down for the people here. Even when you were just talking about Ital Rockers, and you said, "Yeah, so, I played party music, I played rocksteady, I played house." I'm thinking, wait a minute, you played rocksteady and you played house? So, you obviously have this openness to all different kinds of musical genres, as long as they have some connection to reggae, or maybe even some that don't. And I know that hip-hop was part of the mix and so on. But, how can you explain, how is it that you would be playing all these different types of music and brought it all together in what Iration Steppers does?
Okay. Well, in that era, in that time, we never really had a place to go in town. We couldn't play in town because obviously the National Front or whoever was kind of controlling certain clubs, and people didn't want to go to town because of that reason. So we had to play in cellars, underground, shebeens, and maybe a house. So in parties, we was into all that music, into hip-hop, into rocksteady, into everything. So we fused it into parties. So the party people, what we playing was the same vision as us. So we made it accessible We made the music, all the underground black music, accessible for the crowd that was coming to our venues and stuff. And it just worked. And the name Mighty Rockers got big, but they all know I'm a dub head. They all know I'm a dub head. So the dub always came into wherever I played, the dub was always there, you know? And that's what made it kind of accessible, because we had no radios, we had no place to go directly. We had to make our own place. So it could be someone's house, you take out the furniture, and we have party for the weekend. That's how we did it. It was just raw, everything was raw. But it works. I'm here today in Rototom, and with my friends and all you guys, and the story is here to be told.
Yes. Thank you. Now, Rico, maybe you can tell the good people here at the Reggae University a bit about your own story. Where do you come from? How did you become exposed to dub music? And where and when did you start to build O.B.F?
It started in France with my colleague G, operator G. Started collecting records. I was living just near Geneva on the French side, and we were lucky that in Geneva, even if it's a small city, we had many actors, reggae music actors, and the scene was kind of big, even in the 90s, talking about end of the 90s for me, because I was obviously too young before. But we had the chance to have cultural warriors promoting sound system culture, as well in the basement cellar, very underground, but still. We had the chance to see UK sound system, UK artists, because they used to book all those artists, those sounds. We had the chance to have Iration Selector as well, as a big promoter. So as a youth in Geneva, I've seen Gregory Isaac, Jashaka, all these very important for the culture, And so as a young selector, we started to organize our own legal friend party, in a squat in Geneva with Steph there and G. And it was just 30, a bunch of friends, 30 people, 40 people, just enjoying the vibe. And then I discovered that I needed more of this Iration Steppers sound, Vibronics, UK dub, but couldn't find it in Geneva, Because at the time, internet was not really the things, It sounds like it wasn't even here ever. So one friend who was living in the same squat than me said, "Yeah, Rico, I don't know where he found this machine." He said, "Rico, I got this machine for you. Maybe you can use it. You can make music." I said, "All right, I'm gonna try to build some stuff." So I was listening records, and I was trying to rebuild the things. After a couple of months, finally I had my first dub plate and exclusive, because that's what I was looking for. I was listening to some Iration. I was like, why there's not more music like this on the market? I need more for the night we're organizing, And fortunately in Geneva, the shop, we had three shops back in the day: Iration Selector, Cultural Warriors, and Reggae Fever after. But obviously more reggae and classic. So this is how it started, just influenced by the sound in Geneva, Cultural Warriors, Iration Selector brought the vibe, then the UK dub music, the sound system experience as well. When I first stepped in the cellar, Cultural Warriors was playing with RDK from London, Brixton, and we're some young guys here, just listening to reggae, classic reggae music, and anyone would reach the place full of smoke, back in the days, and the bass was feeling it bad. Whoa, what's that? There's a different approach and of reggae music, and I say, yo, this is my vibe, I think. So this is how it started. And a couple of years ago, we started organizing our stuff Luzine, Geneva, Dubquake, build up our own records label, Dubquake Records, and yeah.
Okay, and why don't we take... Why don't we take a little listen to a bit of track 10, and just to remind ourselves about the early days, Rico, when you started to produce.
Is that? Don't know how it gonna sound.
Say the wicked off around, you know. Yeah, great sound skull. The wicked have to run. Cause the wicked do so much wrong. Say the wicked have to run, you know. Yeah, wicked have to run. They say the wicked have to run. Say the wicked have to run. They say the wicked have to run.
Early days.
The wicked have to run. Me say the wicked have to run. The wicked have to run. Me say the wicked have to run. The wicked them a run. Me say them can't get away. The wicked them a run. Me say them can't get away. The wicked have to pay for all the wrongs that them done. The wicked them a run. Me say them can't get away. The wicked have to run. Them have to run. Them have to run.
Reggae University, get ready.
Okay. Yes, and of course that track features the great Dan Man. What can you tell us about putting that track together and your transition to producing?
It started like most of the the track we're releasing. It's just a vibe thing with like some friends or related, like family, or you know, having family, friends, or it started like just a vibe thing in the studio, dub plate. Then we played it a couple of times in the dance. Every time we drop it, people. So before we didn't think about like releasing music, and then maybe we say, oh, maybe this tune could be like, because you know, as a producer, sometimes you're never really happy with your stuff. Oh, maybe I should do. Oh, no, I should do this again. I should rework the drums or this, or you know. And we say, you know, maybe we should put this one out. And yeah, this is how it started. Yeah.
Okay, and then now, Mark, if we wind the clock back a little farther than that, one of the intriguing things that comes up in the film is when you connect with Dennis Rutico. And Dennis in the film says that it really came about through Kitachi. So play us a little bit of track 3, and we'll see if you can enlighten us a bit more about that connection and that side project.
Kitachi.
Yes. So yeah, tell us a bit more about Kitachi and that whole connection with Dennis.
Well, that track there is called Scratch. No, Spirit. That was from the first album that we did, which we was really happy with because it was raw and definitely our background of hip hop and house and trip hop and all that things. So we kind of created this because we're making dub and we love making dub, but we have this little Kitachi vision, you know? And the track like you hear there was one of the tracks that we built, and I'm proud of that track, by the way. It's a good track, that, you know. I still play it now. You're Dubquake, and I played it all over the place. It's a big tune. But yeah, Kitachi is a fusion of stuff, so we called it Kitachi on purpose because we didn't want to conflict it with Iration Steppers, but we did. In the sense of, like, when we did live shows, we played Kitachi tunes and then dropped dub live as well at the same time, and it worked all over the place. I think that's why people kind of like Iration, because we're versatile in a lot of styles that we do. So respect to Dennis Rutical, who's not here today. He's alive, by the way. He's alive. He's just not here. But he's a very... He kind of replaced my best friend who died. So me and Dennis are very, very close people, and why we get on so good is like one of them kind of things. So in the studio, it's so easy. We just know what to do. Just like this guy here. I'm working with this guy here now in the studio, and we just bounce off each other like nothing. It's just, it's like it was made to work, yeah? So yeah, Kitachi is a fusion of Iration. All Ronnie Size and them kind of guys, they got influenced through Kitachi, and that was a big thing as well.
Right, right. Also, in the film, we get a good sense of that organic way that you and Dennis bounce ideas off each other, that there's a lot of spontaneity, and what works, you just move with it. Yeah. I'm also curious about the live bass element when you play out and you have Dennis playing bass live along with the sound. What can you tell us about that?
Dennis is a wicked bass player, man. He's one of them bass players that even I can't believe he can skank at the same time. You know, he's put them up in the air like this, and the bass is still playing there. Why, when you see him live, crazy, bro. I don't see no bass player ever do that kind of skanking like he does. You know what I'm talking about. Great dancer. Crazy. He's a great skanker. But on stage, to play bass and skank with your foot up in the air and doing all them drops, whoa, I tell you, I'm bad. Next level. Yeah, next level. But me and Dennis, yeah, like I said, we're spontaneous, very, very spontaneous. Like I said, working with Rico now, we're just spontaneous, very, very spontaneous in what we need, what we want, the sounds we need, and it just happens instantly.
Okay, thank you. Now, Rico, as you've been developing your production style and as your label is progressing, you've worked with a range of artists, a lot of upcoming artists based here in Europe, Spain, France, elsewhere, as well as Jamaican veterans and upcoming Jamaicans. Let's take a little listen to a bit of track 14. And those of you who were digging the vibes on the main stage last night will probably appreciate this one.
Me no name mafias, not for them will listen, but only few shall hear this. Follow for me pattern and you will find the exit. Babylon not try to make me think that them perfect. Them rules and regulation, well that them use me earth me. Tell you the truth, them things they no longer concerned with. Them days soon I go done. When Babylon run them program and it's detected, neglected human rights is surely to be expected. Make we stand firm to intercept and correct this. So in the future, the attempts will be deflected. We all love to see the people, them and get back to the basics. Show them Babylon, them send them tricks is outdated.
Yeah. What can you tell us about that one?
My good brother, Troy Berkeley, coming from, you know, Bermuda Island. Yes, Bermuda Island. Yeah, Troy Berkeley. So, Troy is based in France, and we know in France there's not a lot of like artists who can write this kind of rhythm with a proper message and who have the proper vibe, you know, to write this kind of rhythm. And Troy, we met Troy a couple of times. He's not working with Lonto Loop. He's doing great all over the planet now with them. And I met him through Fede Cracking Dub, my good brother. And yeah, when I'm working with someone, it needs to be something more than like a professional relationship. It's more like a family vibe. If I'm feeling the vibe with someone, I need to spend time with him before we work on something to get the right vibe. So the most important things to me is to really have this family vibe over like formal professional vibe. That's the thing for me.
Okay. So we've almost reached the time when we're going to open things up for a question and answer with the audience. So you can all take a moment or two just to think about what questions you'd like to put to our special guests, Mark Iration and Rico O.B.F. But in these sessions here at the Reggae University, what we always find is that the music that's created is all about connections. And as you were just saying, when it goes beyond some kind of a business transaction. So let's take a little listen to a bit of track 9, and we'll see what memories this dredges up, what we can hear about the connections that brought forth this music. Yes. Come in, Mark Iration. Do you have any memories of this music? You're looking a bit baffled. This is Weeding Dub from an album, Weeding Dub meets Iration Steppers.
All right.
It looks like no memories. No?
Is it?
Is it?
Is it? No, I don't think it is.
No?
No,
Okay,
no,
well,
no,
could
no.
be could be a
Because the
miscue.
tune you did with Weeding Dub is like DNA. Sound system DNA. Sound
system
system.
Yeah. That's not my track.
Sounds like a miscue. Okay, sack the selector.
Hein? C'est qui dit ça? Hein?
Who was that?
I think the tune
No,
called
no.
Maskenada.
Who is it?
Tune called Maskenada is produced by, I don't remember the name, one of the ownsmen of Zion Train. I don't remember the
Oh.
Dave, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Ital Orn, something like
Ital
that.
Orn,
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know it is, but
Okay.
that's not my track. No.
Mea culpa. Let's try a
Here
little
we
bit
are now.
instead of track 15. Let's hope it's the right track this time, and then we'll
We're
talk
like-
about it.
Yeah?
Yes, I was a this is as a Real rebel data, lyrical slaughter. Firm in on myself, me head no run like no water. Impress them soldier, strong and tender. Govern the place and we now go surrender. Hotter than a breadfruit pan a cool stove, yeah. Lightning strike if you try touch your data. Bun politics and we bun.
I can explain this one.
Yeah, go
no
for
problem.
Let me just say something. One sec. Last night, I was so proud of the O.B.F family being live on stage, the main stage yesterday, because, you know, people don't know the hard work of sound system when we start from the bottom. Sound systems don't get acknowledgement as we should, because people don't realize sound systems are the hardest workers in the business, because we have to get to the dance first and we have to leave last, okay? And if we have technical problems or whatever it is, we have to sort it out in the dance there and then, okay? And it's driving from 5 hours to 2 hours, whatever it is. Now, I was so proud of these guys here on stage because they all deserve what they did last night on the live stage. So please make some noise for these guys. That's my piece.
Yeah, so come in, Rico. Tell us about this track we were just hearing now.
Thank you, Mark, for the words. Yo, this track, Rebel Daughters, I was in Jamaica with Nazomba, my brother, rest in power, yeah. And so I linked up Azza in Nazomba's yard. And you know, in the crew, we have a real rebel daughter, Steph, sitting there. So we wanted to do like a special, you know, tune for all the rebel daughters. The daughters, the sister that you don't really see sometime in a sound system culture, you know. It's not front people. Steph is in the back working, but doing the hard work, yeah. So with Azza, which is working as well hard, yeah, as an artist, I say, yo, Azza, let's do something for the woman them, yeah. I say, for the daughters, the rebel daughters. And then we've been working with Nazomba, because Nazomba was a good writer, yeah. He was writing for other artists. So we've been sitting in his yard, hot day like this, Jamaica, Kings Avenue, and we wrote this tune. And as a big fan of Roots Radix, you can hear the influence of Radix, Flabba Holt, Style Scott, Pop, yeah. So, yeah, that's just, this is how we work, with the heart and the vibe.
Yes, and it was also wonderful to see her on the main stage and having a strong audience response last night, just like your good selves.
Just me, I was so happy that Azza could join us last night, because yo, she's a real artist. Like she put everything in it. Trust me, hard worker, rebel daughters, yeah. All the women there.
So I have a question for Mark and Rico too, because every time have his own sounds and have his own vanguardist, and there are some rules to be broken to create something new, and both of you are vanguardists in your time, so the elders influencing the youngest, and both of you are sharing the vibes with a lot of new crews, like going around to play. So do you think there are some new vanguardists around, carry on the tradition and doing something new and fresh, breaking some old rules now?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Rico is one of the hardest producers right now, along with Vibronics and stuff. But Rico, for me, is very, very versatile. And I'm very versatile myself. And believe it or not, his birthday is January 24th, the day after mine. So we was shocked to have that link the same month and the day after each other. So brother, yeah? So all the Aquarians, bless up. Anyway, when it comes to new stuff, I don't plan it. It just comes natural. I'm not a man that's thinking I'm gonna do this for that reason. It just happens for that reason, because I'm just doing things naturally. I'm not forcing myself to do anything. If you see me do my sound system, it's just me as me doing my thing. I'm not putting no show on for nothing or being a different person. As people know me, I'm just lively off stage as I am on stage. So there's no different things going on. And this is why I think I work with this guy and stuff in that way. And Dennis Rutical is also very, very vibrant and stuff. So the vibes, it's a vibe really. I think, yes, it's a vibe. And bringing in new people, I've got a sound system like you know, and I've got young generation working with me on sound system. This guy in here called Sinai Sound. You might have heard of Sinai Sound. Is he here? Is he gone? Oh, he's still here, yeah? He was on my sound back in the days, and he learned a lot. And now he's doing very good movements now, so I'm proud of him also. And there's many more. He's producing many. He's got a studio with about 2 different studios in the same, is it 3 or 2 studios? 2 different studios, one's for the young generation and one's for the old generation, and some proper dub getting made in them in the other studio, by the way, you know? Sure. So it's wicked. My English isn't the best, but can you understand me? Yeah, because I can't speak Spanish, I'd love to. And I said French also, I'm just lazy, okay? Yeah. Bless up, Sevi, all time. Where's he gone? I heard a voice, I see the face. Where are you there?
He's at the back.
Sevi,
Pick up Daddy Sevi every time. Green Light Sound System, keep it dub alive.
Sevi's been influenced also by all us people, and he's got the Green Light Sound mashing the place up right now. So make some noise for Sevi also, please, people. Green Light.
Green Light.
And Sasha Stepper and Cutty, all them guys, respect.
Okay, so we're at that point where we got time for last few questions, Q&A with the audience here. So,
don't be shy.
Ellen, you got a question?
Yeah, just a quick. I just want to add some stuff as well. Oh yeah, as Mark started with like the story, Aquarius story. Trust me, we're meant to meet each other because just let me tell you how it happens. Yeah, I gave a CD to iNatural, rest in power as well. My first CD back in 2003. Something like that. I was driving him, for a friend, organizing dance. Then I naturally go back to Leeds. He played the CD in his apartment or yard, I don't know. And then this guy, who that? Mark Iration. What? What's that? It's a new young guy from Geneva or somewhere in France. All right, give me his email. And then I received, this is how it started. I received an email from Mark Iration, like, I love your dub, send me some mixes. So I have to burn the CDs, post it, straight to Leeds. No internet, no connection, yeah. So it started like this, destiny. So, Aquarius. Yeah. Anyway, just for the new generation and the young generation, it's very important as Mark, it's related, yeah. As Mark always been supported O.B.F, playing our production. We've been to the first dance with Steph at the War Crew 2004. So Mark Iration in France, he played this tune called Babylon Tremble. I can't remember the bass line, yeah? First tune ever, yeah? And then it was the first sound that invited us in the UK. And then, so we have a special relation, and he did a lot for us. He took care of the young generation, not only OB for O.B.F, yeah. Jacin, Wedding Dub. So Mark did a lot for the young generation, which is now the bigger generation. So we did the same. In the crew, we have boxman, people lifting off box, driving us the van. There is like Big Sound here, he built his own studio, his own sound system. He was in the crew before. Now he reached the Sinai level in terms of some next level engineer shit, yeah. And as well now I'm supporting the new generation in the crew, Dubquake Records. We have Isaiah, which is a young producer from Geneva, which is crazy, mixing like some future Berlin vibe with some future London, Kingston vibe. She all mix, this kind of music. We have Mystic Wood as well, great, talented artist. And as well Sonda, 14 years old producer. Anyway, so the young generation is here, and trust me, we need to work hard now because they are serious. They're coming in hard. So so it's just a normal process for us to help as we've been helped by the elders.
So it's great to hear of that encouragement and apprenticeship that still continues. Yeah, so quick question here before we... Okay.
Sevi, wait for the mic.
Yeah, wait for the mic, yeah.
No, it's all right.
We know.
All right, so it's been like 5 years, 6 years, even 8 years I've been listening about album, LP, EP, singers, I don't know, about a combination between Iration Steppers and O.B.F. What one with this? I have some tunes of that, but when the people can listen, play, what we can expect about this, I can send you later, bro, no problem. But can you tell us something about what we can expect about this combination?
So people, this is an official announcement. Next year, 2024, next, no. 2023, next year, Iration Steppers meets O.B.F. album. Yes, done, out.
Thank you.
By the way, we already sent the first singles to the press plant factory, so should
Okay, so soon come.
Some original Iration Steppers mixed with some original O.B.F. style. Mark Iration on lead vocal. Everyone on the desk mixing, creating bass, scenes, everything.
Okay.
Yeah, Dennis, Rico, Mark Iration, we're all playing the instruments, we're all doing things together, we're mixing together. It's a combination.
Yes. Thank you for that question. Now, come in, panelist. Ellen, you got a question. Oh, Pete, yeah.
It's a question for both soundmen. The various, different sound systems always have different philosophies how they want their system to sound. And in the film now, I kind of got the impression that especially in the early years, this depended much more on circumstances than actual ideas, depending on funding, on access to knowledge, or whatever it was. Mark, how did you develop the sound to what it sounds like today? And maybe to Rico, how it was different when you started, when technology was more advanced and.
Technology was advanced, but we didn't really have access to this technology because the money was very low. So we started to be like we asked G's uncle to help us supply some we found the wood, but we didn't have the technology to cut the piece of wood. No money to go to a proper factory, so we did it ourselves. Oh shit! Anyway, so the first 2 boxes we built, some mistakes in it, yeah. But obviously we did a couple of good dance with it. We just bought some extra JBL back in the day. This big 15-inch JBL. Put it on top by a couple second-hand amps. We started like this, really experiencing, and I think what is giving your sound system the level of experience and everything is how you have been struggling before to build your own sound, struggling to get this wood, struggling to get the screw, struggling to have the right access for everything, It needs to take time, to experience the sound, to work on your sound, to define your signature, everything. So it started like this because the money was low, so we just did DIY style.
Yeah, as Rico said, as you saw in the documentary, we used to borrow wood from buildings, yeah? So we tore up the wood and built speakers from that way.
Next level.
In fact, most soundmen in England did the same thing. We all had to go to the big building sites and borrow the wood, and some people used to go to the schools and borrow the speakers. They used to borrow the speakers from the schools, yeah? That's how it was. We had no money. So anyway, as we did that, eventually, like I said, we got a job. And then we put the money into the sound system and start building sound from Ita Rockers. And like I said before, Ita Rockers was 15-inch speakers. We had 15-inch Colossus, faint Colossus. which did the job. But when I had to go bigger, I actually bought a sound system called Jawarriors sound system from London. I bought the sound system from them, and then that's when I went into the bigger league and started playing at the Brixton Recreation Centre with Abashanti and all them other big sounds back in the days. Since then, I have moved on, and now I'm with the best builder called QSS. Kuti is the best builder right now, and very visionary. Is a very good guy when it comes to ideas of stuff. Our boxes are doubles. Sinai now is on Paraflex. So virtually, for me, I like my doubles. Other guys might like singles, but Kuti, for me, is the best box builder and the best sound engineer out there right now. So make some noise for QSS!
Now,
some people might be different, but like I said, the Paraflex is coming up strong right now. Sinai, you know.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of quick points to mention. 15 minutes from now, we will be starting the next session directly with the Midnight Rocker himself, the one and only Horace Andy. So we encourage you all not to move. Further to that, as soon as we end this session, which is right now, I think we got one last question, but please allow our special guests to make a dignified exit. Just let them go about their business and don't rush them for the photos. So please, come with your very last question, and that's it.
Big up everyone. Maybe it's a question or a comment, you know, I'm not sure. Firstly, just big up the panel, you know, it's a legendary panel. Just big up yourself, Pier Tosi, David Katz, Ellen, Pete, you know, the young warriors, you know, big up on yourself and big up everybody else, the family who's here, Poopa, Sevi, you're doing a great job, you know, Selector G, Kappa, everyone, big up yourself, you know, Rafal, big up. My name is Rash Jami, you know, from Sons of Dub. I'm coming from Trinidad and Tobago via Jamaica, every year to Europe for dub and, you know, for reggae vibes. And every time I go back to Trinidad and to the Caribbean, people ask me about the sound and about the progression of the sound. And in this trip, I've been hearing where a lot of people are saying like a lot of culture is missing from the dance, you know? And for me, I'm experiencing a lot of it, and you see it's happening, I guess, because of the bureaucracy and stuff, where we cannot have dances where we would want to have them, you know? Reggae and dub as a cultural thing, you would have it in a place where you can smoke, you have people selling trinkets, you have certain things happening. And now most of the dance, we're in a place where it's alcohol laid and we can't really, we're in closed doors, it's not in nature and stuff, you know? What you see happening, or what I see happening, is a stronger, more energetic pace of music with the 140 BPM Iration Steppers style, as I call it, because you're the godfather, you know? And it is very clear that that is the connection back to the original thing right now for the future, because you've seen a lull in everything over the years, you know? I want to know how, or I would like to ask, how do we continue to maintain that word sound power and positivity and the vibe of what we are doing, you know, through these adversities with the promoters and the bureaucracy and everything, and keep bringing true word sound power, because I think a lot of times now you see where there's a lot of sound power and the people are in trance and they are facing the speakers more so than, like last night they were facing you, because the word sound was different. And I really want to say I appreciate the way you started your set in our original way, you know? So I do give thanks.
Yeah.
So, bless up.
Good question, good question. To your answer, every time I play anywhere in the world, I always play my foundation tunes first. Always foundation, ever, because that's what I love, foundation. So it might be a special, from somebody, but it's always foundation. Then we move up into the 140 gear, as you say, because, as you know, the scene is changing. The scene has changed, by the way. As you know, Jamaica, well changed. No cutting plans, no new music, no change, bro. Yeah? So we have to influence the people around us now, okay? So, like I said, always foundation for me. Could be first hour, or whatever. If it's on my sound system, it'd be more than an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, whatever, vinyl, whatever, yeah? So, because like I said, it's changing. We look, everything's evolving around quick things right now, and the crowd want to dance, they want to dance. I mean, they don't want to be bored. So that's why it's that way at the moment. We're here at the festival, and people are here in the sun, and at the night time, the music, different DJs on there, they're all playing different music, yeah? But when it comes to so much o'clock at night time, they want to rave, you know, they want to rave. So that's how it goes. So, good question. Evolution.
Okay, so one more time, round of applause for Rico O.B.F. and Mark Iration. Do not move, stay right here, stick around for the next session with Horace Andy.